everyone, and welcome to Art with Allie. I'm your host, Allie Pastel. In the studio with us today is none other than Claude Monet. First, Mr. Monet, congratulations on being the founder of French Impressionistic painting. What can you tell us about Impressionism?
Well, Allie, Impressionism is the philosophy of expressing one's perceptions before nature.
Interesting. What was your first painting that produced this?
It was Impression Sunrise, which was exhibited in 1874 in the first of the independent exhibitions mounted by myself and my associates.
Why did you and your colleagues have to display your art independently?
We were met with rejection from the Conservative Academic Arts, which held its annual exhibition at the Salon de Paris. So, during the latter part of 1873, myself and colleagues organized the Cooperative and Anonymous Association of Painters, Sculptors, and Engravers.
So it's true that a critic later reviewed your painting, intending to cause harm, but you turned the key word around and coined the term impressionist for yourself. Nice. But now take us back. How did you develop this eye for what would later be called Impressionism?
Well, I was always different. I remember going to the Louvre in Paris, and while others were recreating other paintings, I would sit by a window and paint what I saw. Later I would become a student of Charles Glare, and we would both share new approaches to art, painting the effects of light with broken color, rapid brushstrokes. This would lead to the birth and style called Impressionism.
Amazing! What else happened while you were in Paris?
I continued still to attempt to get a hanging opportunity at the Salon. One was rejected, another incomplete. I finally submitted a painting of a model named Camille. It was titled The Woman in the Green Dress. It was hung along with another small landscape painting in the Salon.
Camille, huh?
What other paintings did you use her for?
Well, I used her, I believe, in Woman in the Garden, On the Bank of Seine, Bannecourt, and several others.
Did you and Camille ever become an item?
Yes. In fact, we did.
In 1867, she gave birth to our first child, Jean. We married on June 28, 1870. Unfortunately, around this time the Franco-Prussian War broke out. How did the war affect your family and your paintings? We lived in England for a time, then the Netherlands, where I actually made 25 paintings. I returned to France in 1871, living in Argenteuil. I painted some of my best-known works there. I painted to Camille and associate Manette on the banks, and he in turn painted Camille and I on a boat.
Well, how else did your art evolve?
After the death of Camille, I started to document the French countryside, taking the same spot at different times to capture different lighting, etc. It is said this is where my best work began during the early 1800s and so forth.
Oh, is it getting closer to the time period where you did my favorite works, the lilies? Please tell me about your inspiration.
While on a train between Verney and Gasny, I discovered Giverny.
Oh, please tell us about Giverny.
Well, in May 1883, my large family, I had married Alice Holstein, which is whom we lived with while Camille was ill. Alice's husband went bankrupt after Camille's death and left Alice and her 6 children behind. I stayed with Alice and later married her in 1892. Anyways, I fell in love with a piece of property we were renting in Giverny. I was finally selling art and making a profit. Later, I outright bought the house we were renting, the land, and the building on it.
Oh, please tell me about your newfound property, because I know it gets good.
It had a barn, which I converted into a studio, some orchards, and a small garden. We all worked up on the garden and built it up. All the while, I was still selling art. I later added a greenhouse, a second studio that was very spacious and had natural skylight lighting. I continued building on the garden, making notes and plans on where I wanted things to go.
Your garden sounds exquisite.
Yes, as my wealth grew, so did my garden. It evolved like a painting itself. I continued to be the architect of the garden and hired 7 gardeners. Later is when I purchased additional land that had a water meadow on it. This became the Lily Pond project that would be my subject for my best known works. Your favorite.
Yes, my favorite.
Wow, it sure has been a pleasure having you on the show tonight, Mr. Monet. I truly enjoyed hearing how you defied the jury of the salon to help make your own gallery where any artist could display their work. It truly is amazing that you helped with the French Impressionist painting. Thank you for sharing your story with us.
That's all the time we have, fellow art lovers. Join me next time as I interview Picasso. Allie out!